Hello, welcome to Podcast Growth Academy. This is the Mount Roundup, and we're going to talk about how you can create your 20 hours of content like I did. And this has been a great journey. I feel like doing 20 hours is honestly an achievement if I'm being completely honest, because it's not easy to do the same thing over and over and over again. People get tired of doing the same thing over and over again, especially when it's redundant. But if it's progressive, if it's productive in a way that makes you feel like I can do better than this, I can do more, and I can do way more than I've done, then that should be a pointing factor for you. So this is really where you have to think about your business and ask yourself where you're going to connect with people and how you're going to connect with them. Hey, T. Nicole, good morning. Thanks for being here. It's always good to have you here. You know, when you're creating content, you have to really know what your content is doing for you. So I've done this from May 1st through May 31st. And what I really want to do is create a case study, which I'm planning to do for Clubhouse. And I'm going to write an article about this and pretty much express and talk about how I was able to use Clubhouse as a social audio case study to learn about what people need, because we are always online talking, but we need to be talking about things that make sense and also make sense when you think about the cash value and the conversation value. So in this room for today, I want to show you how I can create 20 hours of content the way I've done in a month. And you can do that and split it across different platforms, right? Creating content is not hard. Anybody can create content right now. You can, I can, we both can. But what's going to make your content stand out from mine or vice versa is how many times you keep showing up to the point where when you show up, people are like, oh, yeah, I know what this person does. I know what that person does, because you are already in a space of understanding that people that are listening to you from a point of perspective, right? They're listening to your perspective because they found your perspective interesting from another perspective. So when you think about a conversation, if I like what you said, I'm going to keep listening to you until it gets to a point where I may not like what you say. And then I'll now decide, do I want to keep hearing what you're saying or do I discard that? So there's always going to be a push back and forth. So if you're creating content for people, it has to be something that people can remember. Now, how do you know that someone can remember your content? Is by one, producing it, right? Once you produce your content, right, the next thing you're going to do after producing your content is to take that content outside the platform you created it, right? And then take it to another space so that you can see what it does. Like, think about the most, let me be very simplistic with this example, right? Hey, Andrea, welcome. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. It's been a while. Come on up if you're available. Please feel free. This is a free space. So if you guys are available to speak, yeah, this is a good time to be here because I've been doing this all month. So feel free. What's up? Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday.
What's going on? What's going on? Good to have you here. So Empress is here, Guest is here. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. I just feel like I just want this to be a great space that I can, give you all some insights on some things I found just with having content daily. And this is really the time that, I think about content, and I've been really asking myself, okay, if I'm going to create content again like this, how am I going to do it in a way that's going to make the most sense? And also the most sense too, and it's pretty much the exchange in value for the customer. And one thing I've realized just doing this consistently Monday through Friday, nonstop. Nobody told me to do this. Nobody forced me. Nobody said, hey, do this now. I said, I'm going to do it myself. And I'm going to use May as a case study. Go back to Clubhouse, talk about everything, understand it, and then go to Google and express my thoughts on what happened on Clubhouse, right? And give people a case study. So if they want to also discover and do their own thing their way, it's going to happen. Let me just give you an example. On June, I think it's going to be June 5th, planning to do something like this next week. I'll tell you guys more about it. But I'm going to be live streaming here about 3 hours. And there are children who are going to be doing like a play, and they want to kind of have a live stream session. So I got someone reached out to me on Clubhouse. He connected me with somebody else, who connected me with somebody else. And it's like crazy how it just goes. And then all of a sudden, somebody needs help with. They were deciding, hey, can we do this on a radio station and promote our help the kids, or are we going to focus on digital audio? And I told them it's up to you. You can choose whether you want to do digital audio, or you're going to go to radio and focus on one area. And when I told them that we focus on zip code advertising, I think that's when it opened her mind. And we're going to be having that live stream soon. So we're planning on that. We'll see. I'll give you guys more details, when everything unfolds, as we go. And I'll give you guys insights in next week, because it's going to be a place where we can audio live stream from their end, and at least just make them feel like, okay, this is something that people can listen to and have some impact as well. And there are also some other things I'm working on. So just creating content has allowed me to do what is called earned media. Hey, Soda and Celeste, you guys just creeped up in here. Then guess it. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Favor. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for being here. Soda, what's up? Soda has been here every day. How are you, Soda? Good morning.
Good morning. You're part of my morning ritual now.
Wow, I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. So this is I think, and also like doing this daily has also made me learn a lot of things about one, myself, my content, what people need, why I'm showing up, and who I'm showing up for. Because I feel like I've been really like scatterbrain because I talk about so many things, but I'm like, I need to talk about something that people need. And it's been something I've been planning to do for a while now, and it's finally hit me like, oh, what everybody really needs right now is podcasting. I've been doing a lot of research. I've been up since 4 a.m. and I've been doing research on podcasting. And one country that I would tell you, if you're thinking about doing sponsorships, we can talk about it if you want to learn more in the academy. Click the link above so you can get all these insights. Is Australia. There's a report that was done. I'm still doing some research on it. They did a 2024 Q2 report, Q1, Q2 report, and they said that advertisers in Australia are looking for podcasts to advertise and sponsor shows. So if you're connecting to people in Australia and your business, your content resonates with them, it makes sense, then yeah, you can definitely tap into those audiences. So that's where we're going right now, and it's a wave, because when you think about content, like right now, how many people are we in this room? We're like 24 people in the room now, right? But we're about 8 billion in the world. So there are other people who have not heard this or heard anything from what I've talked about all month that I'm bringing to Google, right? Because the content I've done here on Clubhouse has allowed me to understand, what do people really need? Like I've talked about different topics, 20 different topics this month. And I asked yesterday, I even asked Soda yesterday, and David was here too. I asked, what, you see, I get no listeners from Australia. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get you for there for sure. I promise you, Soda, you'll get there. Because it's very possible. I don't see this thing as like a far-fetched thing. It's literally within your reach. So, creating content allows you to also understand what people need. So I asked yesterday, hey, what is the most striking, topic that, you learned about this month? And then Soda said, zip codes. And I was like, oh, okay, that's different. Because I made it open ended. And then I think David also talked about zip codes too. And he was like, yeah, the way the zip codes work, and then also heat maps, because I talked about how to use your social media as a heat map, so that you're not just posting content. If you look at my LinkedIn right now, it's so different. Like it's so different, and I'm really paying attention to the aesthetics because there's a science behind it, and I'm still studying, and it's beautiful to look at the way you connect with people. I just to tell you how earned media is so big, just because what I'm showing you today is pretty much what has happened in 30 days. As I'm speaking to you right now, I just got an email from someone. They're from a website. I won't mention the site, but they have a pretty popular blog. They said that they have 3 million annual readers, and that offer career advice, insights, and guides. And they were like, "Oh, we're running an article on a career as a marketing manager, and we believe insights from an accomplished professional like yourself would bring immense value to our readers." And I was like, "Who are these readers?" So I went ahead to look down, and it's telling me that they want to learn about my career journey and also aspiring professionals who want to do the same thing. What can they do? And this next generation of professionals are coming up, and these guys have young readers. So I'm going into a world I did not ask for or opt in or pitch, but because they saw my content on LinkedIn, they've seen my content on YouTube, they've seen my content now on Google, it's showing up on different places, it's growing, right? And that is what has built the podcast to really take its own stance. And I'm like, okay, this is what people need, podcasts, because everyone is posting social media everywhere. But in 5 years from now, can you say that you own that media? You can't really say that. It's you own it on your local drive, but it's not owned on the web. Like you don't own it domain wise. Like you don't really have any dominance. So if you don't have any leverage, then how is AI going to support your content or give your content as value because you're not showing up in this original search feed? And I actually kind of had a bingo moment yesterday because I was talking with a client yesterday and we're looking at some analytics. And I was like, okay, look at this. If you look at the Google search results of, let's say, a LinkedIn post, the reason why a LinkedIn post is showing up on Google is because the number of reactions that post is getting. It's not easy to get 20 likes on LinkedIn, 50 likes on LinkedIn, 100 likes on LinkedIn. It's not easy. It's not, it's easy, but it's not easy. You have to figure out how to get that going, right? So as you're figuring out how you're doing it, you have to ask yourself, what do people want? What do people need? And I just kept on asking myself, what do people want? I can't just keep on writing content. And I realized, oh, people are talking about email marketing. People are responding more to that. They're responding more to Pinterest. They're responding more to podcasts. So this person reaches out to me. She's an SEO specialist. I connected with her today. She's on LinkedIn. And when I look at, I'm like, okay, where is this person from? And I go to your LinkedIn and I'm checking. In my mind, I'm like, okay, if this is really where people are coming to, then why can't I spend more time there? Because where you spend time this year is going to matter. This year in January, I said I'm kicking off the year with LinkedIn and Clubhouse. I was very intentional. LinkedIn and Clubhouse, and now LinkedIn is growing. This person is in Montenegro. What country is this? Montenegro. Yeah, that's where she found me. I have to figure out where that is on the map. But that's what podcast is doing. That's what LinkedIn is doing, guys. And I'm not spending money on ads. This is earned media. It's because I've checked the country. Montenegro is in southeastern Europe. I didn't run ads there, but someone emailed me. So I'm about to reach 3 million people because of this. So what I'm telling you is you don't need money or capital to make impact. You need your time, your value, what you have inside of you, your voice, your IP to make that happen. John said something yesterday. Welcome, John and Celeste, in his room yesterday. That really, like, after the room, I kept thinking about it. It's like if you want to double your downloads, double your content. Simple. Like if you want to double your efforts, double your work. So that kept hitting me. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm doing it, but am I really doing it like I should be doing it? So I'm pushing myself further than I've been. I mean, yeah, 300 episodes is great, but I want to hit 500 by August. That's my goal now. I want to have 5 years, 500 podcasts, 500 episodes. Sorry. And now I want to have 50 podcasts by the end of the year that I look at my dashboard, there are 11 podcasts on my dashboard because now Spotify tells you how many people you can manage podcasts for. I have 11 and my goal is 50 this year. So I'm putting goals, I'm just setting goals. I'm like, hey, I want to achieve this. I want to grow this podcast academy. I'm going to be talking on national radio next week, in another country. Just because of this, I didn't pay for any of this. So I really want you guys to see the importance of spending time with the people that you love, the people that you're helping, because you have a business for your family, for your loved ones. So if you love your content, if you love your family, if you love the people that you're helping, then you need to love your business as much as you love your passionate value and vision for what you're giving. That way, people can see your why. Like, I don't have to say why I'm doing this. It's happening. People are responding. Hey, I'm helping the next generation. I'm helping the kids. The kids are going to be here next week. I'll be audio streaming from here. So that they can at least have an experience. If somebody has a question, they can ask. Helping communities. So ask yourself, as a business, what are you doing? Even in business, look at the millionaires and the billionaires. When you look at their budgets, some of them, they allocate percentages to charity. What are you doing? What's your corporate social responsibility? What are the things you're doing socially that's adding currency to your community? It's not just posting away. Great episodes, good, cool. But what are you doing to make an impact? 20 hours is not easy. 20 hours is not 20, it's not 20 seconds. So doing this consistently, like, I feel like I want to do it again in June, but I have to shift my gears now because I want to start doing workshops next month, for the academy. People are already in the academy and I'm like, okay, all right, guys, you guys are in, let's go. First workshop, everybody's going to upload an episode together. Everyone's going to be on their screens, upload your episodes together. By the time we leave that room, that space, everybody has an episode on their RSS feeds because I want you to take that initial step. When babies take steps, you got to give them their first step, second step, let them drop, step before they can step by themselves. They can walk, they can run, they can fly. That's what I want you to do. I want you to fly higher than I have. I want you to hit 100 episodes faster than I did, because I know the power of podcasting. And if it wasn't for podcasting, I'm telling you the truth, I would not be on Clubhouse because that's how I got here, through podcasting. I wanted to do something live. And I said, hey, where can I do this live? And podcasting came around in November 2020. And then Clubhouse came through and I joined here. So I was already a year into podcasting. I've already been doing music since back in '05. So I was like, this is perfect. Let me go in the live stream and see what happens. And look at where we are, 2024. Only God knows what's going to happen in 2025. So it's just being intentional and just planning your process. It's even biblical. Write it down. Write your plans down. I have a little book, a little like notebook. I write it down. I put the date. I say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. And it's happening, right? It's not rocket science. It's mental practice. It's stability. It's consistency. It's discipline. So I'm happy I've done this to the end. But I would like to just ask anyone, Andrea, Idongesit, Soda, Celeste, John, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you guys process your content? Because everyone does things differently. So I'd love to also know your processes. So let's pass it around.
So my every hey favor. So everything that you said resonated with me. Every project I start, we don't start with ads. You know, to me, ads is kind of like a waste of time. Doesn't improve your concept. Doesn't improve the like market response. You don't really know what you're doing yet. So you're wasting money. What I always do every time we start a new website, every time we start a new like project or business, it's always like, what are the first 100 pieces of content that need to be published on the website, right? And then how do we get the backlinks? How do we distribute the content so people can actually see what we're doing? How do we provide resources like answering questions on Quora or Reddit, right? To actually see what people are interested in, and that earned media drives you traffic forever. So it's I like to say this, right? Your first year of creating content, it's kind of like the painful time in between no results to that point where you're starting to build momentum. right? In the second year, you start seeing more traffic, right? Six to 12 months, you start seeing a little bit more traffic, and then you start doing the backlinking strategies, off page SEO, stuff like that. Um, and then it starts growing exponentially, right? To a point where, like, okay, now you can see what's actually your pillar content, what's driving traffic, what people are interested in at different levels of the funnel, right? But it always starts with the elbow grease. And um, content is compounding, especially if you have a website, you own your domain, you're putting content on your website or in your newsletter or someplace that you have control over. That helps you win business over time. So, I mean, I'm a proponent of that. It doesn't always, I always say social media is great. I love social media. It's a great opportunity to meet new people, engage and support your community, build and grow communities, right? But at the end of the day, the content that you have the most control over is on your website, in your newsletters, something that you can distribute and then cycle back to your offers or your brand, whatever it is you're building. But yeah, I love that. The first 100 posts, it's always like that's the starting point where you start to see things grow. And then you say, okay, how can I get to 500? And how can I build a moat around what I'm doing? And that's the fun stuff, right?
This is so good. Thank you so much for this, Andrea. I want us to do a practical example. I really want us to do this, and I think this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. If you have an Instagram account and you're on Clubhouse and you're listening, let's make this. Let's just do this activity right now. I just want to show you guys how important what Andrea said is if you translate that to your website. So go to your Instagram. Everyone, go to your Instagram. You might know this number off head, but if you don't, please just check it and come back to Clubhouse. Go to your Instagram right now, look at your profile, and then you have followers and then following, then you see posts. Posts is like the very first thing you see. You see your profile, then you see number of posts. Grab that number and now come back to Clubhouse and then put that number in the chat. How many posts do you have on your Instagram? I want to give you guys a rough number. So just come back to Clubhouse. Okay, so Soda 836. Okay. Celeste 117. Guess it 2. Okay. All right. Anybody else? I wanna show you guys something. Wow, John, 3,872. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Andrea 386. Okay. Wow. All right. And mine is 5. I'm gonna put mine in the chat too, because I told everyone to do this. I need to do mine too. Mine is 523. Okay. So now let's do this, right? All these numbers that we just put on there are all web pages. So what Instagram is doing, right? This is pretty much the whole science of it. This is SEO in its like 101 totality. If you add all these numbers, Tony 296. Okay, if you add all these numbers, if you get a calculator and add all these numbers, this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just 7 people alone have these number of posts, right? These are all Instagram.com/p/post because the P stands for post, right? Every one of them has an identical number, has an identical code. So that means that everybody on Instagram doesn't have to create pages because Instagram is creating pages for Instagram.com. That's literally what I'm trying to say. If you look at your number of pages on your Instagram and you translate that to the number of episodes you have, the number of blogs you have, the number of links you have on your website, if that number is not equal to or above or greater than, then we need to fix that because you're giving time and money, energy, space, subscriptions, your screen time to all these social platforms when your own audience should be spending the time you're spending on those platforms on your web pages that you've created over time. So if you are thinking about your business, the number of links that you have, like Andrea said, 100 links. Once you have 100 links, that's 100 episodes. That's a pack. When you buy like cards, they give you 100 in a pack. That's 100 pieces, right? $100 bill, one, if you count them up in ones, that's $100 in $1 bills. That's one stack, right? So if you look at the $100 bill and you break it down into one, so one episode, cash it in, one episode, cash it in, $1, cash it in, $1, cash it in. By the time you're getting to $100, cashed in your 100th episode into your RSS feed, and everybody is like, oh, new episode. Before you know it, you have 100 episodes on YouTube, 100 episodes on Apple, 100 episodes on Spotify, 100 episodes on iHeart. Like, you'll be surprised at what your numbers could do for you, and then you start to call the shots. But the problem is, all these numbers we have here are not on your domain. You don't control that. Google, if you go to Instagram.com and you go to the Google Search Console, all our links are on that page. So what am I trying to say here? I only spend 20 hours of content. That for me is 20 links on Google. So if you do your own math and say, okay, I have one piece of content that goes on Google, okay, that goes on Pinterest, okay, that goes on YouTube, that goes on podcast, okay, the podcast goes on Apple. By the time you look at your links a year from now and just be consistent, it's different, right? 1% better every day is better than 0% every day. 1% conversion is better than 0% conversion, right? So, what are we doing? If you think about your content, like today, I don't have points. Today is just like I've given so much hours on in the month of May that I feel like I just want to hear back from you all, like how you guys feel, about the content, because I've given so much content and I feel like the content that you have now should be enough. Like, if I stop doing content today, I think we should be fine, to be honest, because I really poured out so much information that it's not even free, to be honest, because I wouldn't say this on a free call, but I said it because I wanted to give people a free trial. That's what it means. But if you take the trial, it's 7 days, it's up to you. Now you can have a free trial in the academy. If you click the link above and put your contact information, refresh the page, it's going to now redirect you to the page. You can start your 7-day free trial today. Get in there, see the posts, right? Check it out. Speaking of posts, the ones who are in the academy, I said this yesterday, there's a small business grant that's ending. I checked the disclaimer today. So it's ending at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for 20,000, and it's a small business grant that I saw that I said, okay, I'm going to send it out to people in the post. So if you've not applied for it, you need to have a business account with that company. So check out the company when you check the link in the post section in the academy when you join. So even if you get your free trial, you can go there, go to the post, and you'll see it. And you're going to get your own private feed. So if you listen to Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, you're going to get a premium token. And that token, you're going to activate that token on your Apple. So you don't even have to be on the platform. You can listen to the new episodes through Apple, through a private feed, because you're already within the feed, the premium feed. So it's a really cool experience. The people who are in the academy, they're really loving it. So I didn't want to pick a Teachable or a Kajabi, or I use LearnWorlds and I'm moving out of LearnWorlds. I didn't want to have this course platform. I wanted to have an audio experience, and it's working. People are asking questions. It's an Ask Me Anything. So I want people to ask me questions so I can respond back to them in episodes. Yesterday was an Ask Me Anything session, and somebody all the way from Pakistan was the first person to ask me a question yesterday. Listen to the replay. He asked me a very specific question. And John, I want to come to you on this question because I wish you were in that room. He's from Pakistan. He has 300 episodes. This is a quick profile. He has 300 episodes. He's on Podbean, podbean.com. That's the hosting distribution platform. And his Apple ratings were 2.5 out of 5 stars with about 75 ratings. And he was wondering why he's not doing well, because his email account, like, pretty much the emails that he was getting were just for guests. He wasn't getting emails for subscribers, for sponsors. They were just guests. So he was really having a problem scaling. But if you look at his podcast, the name of his podcast is called, I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but I think I'm going somewhere with this. No Limits Selling. That's the name of his podcast, No Limits Selling. And check it out. Really nice guy. So maybe there was something probably wrong, or maybe it was spam. I don't know. But he really came, and I gave him some content, and he can definitely check it out. So, John, I wanted to ask you this. Somebody who has all these podcasts, all these numbers shows. We're talking about get to 100 episodes, but someone has 300 with 2.5 ratings on a hosting and distribution platform that's probably not the best option, or maybe is the best option for them. But how do we tell? So, what would you say to someone like that?
Well, the first thing I would say is I went to Listen Notes, and right now he's got a global rank of 3%, a listen score of 34. I scroll down, it shows you in the category of business, sales, and management. The first thing I would do is I look at the categories, and I don't know what Podbean offers, but more than likely, he's probably not in enough categories and subcategories for his show. That's the very first thing I would do. Second thing I would do is I would look at his titles of his episodes, and he's using the same artwork for every episode, the show artwork. So that if he has time, he can do individual ones. But what he can do quickly is if we look at his last episode, look at his titles, his networking strategies for different career stages and industries, and compare how many people are actually searching for that content, because the first three words are the most important. And then his first line, his first paragraph is on episode 370, the No Limit Selling podcast, which means he's not paying attention to keyword density. So that's the first thing I would look at. And that's the first thing I tell him. Secondly, I would say, look at your socials, because that may not be the biggest place where people discover you, but you can create an audience that can generate revenue for you. It's in addition to your show. Because advertisers, every advertiser I've dealt with, they want more than just your podcast. They want radio, they want social media, they want email newsletter, they want your website visits, they want total exposure. What is your overall reach? So he probably doesn't have that, I would say. But the first thing I would do with him, I look at your categories and then look at your titles, and more than likely he can get a big boost and increase by correcting those.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you're right on that. It's true. You know, when you look at the numbers, especially like what you said, those first three words, it matters. Like when we think about those first three words, it matters. When we say them on the podcast show, when we say them in the show notes, it matters. Even on YouTube, I remember this was back in 2021. Somebody that worked at YouTube came on the show, and I talked to him. I'll never forget that conversation. And I was asking about the algorithm of YouTube, and I was like, "Why does YouTube really do what they do?" This was before Shorts even came out, and he said this one thing that stuck with me. He said that on YouTube, what they capture and the reason why videos do so well is not, yeah, good caption, yes, good thumbnail, yes, good everything, SEO, check, 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 check. But the major key factor that's going to make your video pop are, like John said, the first three words that you say, because those first three words are going to be transcribed into text. YouTube is an algorithm, it's a search engine. So if you're talking about search, search has different phases. There's phrase matching, there's broad matching, there's exact matching. You can also have negative keywords. How do you like exclude keywords from the sequence? There's so many, it's like a whole sequence to it. It sounds like a lot, but there's a formula to it, right? So if you want to position yourself, the base formula is make sure that your URL, your uniform resource locator, locates the keyword that you have researched. Because some people just talk about stuff. The first three words of your podcast or your book or your blog has nothing to do with the title. Hey everyone, welcome. Great. That sounds good, right? But by the time someone listens to the first 3 minutes, have they caught that attention? No. If that text is not put in the actual like text format that says, "Are you looking for this? Is this what you're looking for?" It's different. If I say today is Friday, you're like, "Yeah, today's Friday." If I say today is Friday, you're gonna question me or you're gonna ask me back the same question. You're gonna be like, "Okay," because I'm sparking curiosity. So when you start questions with asking questions and then using that formula on a platform like YouTube, like on TikTok. When people hear TikTok, the first 3 seconds, first three words, you're hooked because you've heard the first. So when you hear the first, do you stay? A lot of people get that traffic and then it tanks because they don't know how to keep it. A lot of people can make money, but how many people keep it? A lot of people can get whatever they want, but can they keep it? So the goal is keeping it. If you can get a lot of downloads, podcast episodes, uploads, great. But if you can't keep it, If you can't keep that momentum going, 100 episodes, 200 episodes, 300 episodes, it's not easy to get to 10 episodes. I'm telling you guys, it's not easy. It's not easy to get to 10 episodes. It sounds like, yeah, 10. 10 quality episodes that people can still listen to in 2025. You have to think about this. The podcast lifespan is so wide, y'all. I've listened to episodes from 2015, from 2013 that sound like 2024, and it still has value. And there are only 3 million podcasts in the world. That is like the smallest audience. It's like the deepest, bluest ocean you can be in 2024. Have a voice. Let AI use that and have something called share of voice. There's something called share of voice in the market, in marketing. Share of voice. What does that mean? How much of the market share do you talk about the same thing over and over again on different platforms that point back to the same domain, which is your website? So when you think about owned media, it's whatever you post online, right? Earned media, do people reference back to you? Shared media, is your content shareable, right? Paid media, are you paying for your best organic owned media to get more results? When threads came into the picture, I remember when threads showed up the first time, everybody was threads, 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 threads. Oh, threads is going to drop. Threads is doing so well. John, I'll even tell you this, and also Andrea Soda, gets it. So listen, hey Heather, Threads is doing so well because there's a hashtag called podcast threads, and so there's there too. You can literally put your stuff on there on threads, and people can discover your account. So you get to even see people's connections. It's really, really nice. And it has this whole new algorithm to it. But why I'm bringing this up is because initially people were like, oh, threads, what's that? But Meta knew what they were doing. Facebook, Instagram knew what they were doing. When they first started, they launched an article. The article was how to use threads. I don't even remember if anybody saw that ad that they did when they first launched how to use threads, and it was a developer article. They said, hey, read this article, how to use threads, get the app today. This was when you had to like get a number. It was like a special number you used to get before threads became public. When that happened, everybody was trying to get on threads, right? And know what to do with threads. Everybody was like, oh, we even have rooms on Clubhouse on threads. And I even have some episodes on the podcast on threads, right? Threads is still popping today. But why am I bringing this story up? Because Meta created owned media, meaning that they created a product. Like if you follow this framework, you can do this yourself and you can succeed. Like they say success leaves clues. The clues have been left for us to find, but we don't want to find them because we don't think we have time. We have time, but we also don't have time. So if you think about the time you're spending, then you should consider how much time you're investing. So why I'm bringing this story up is when you look at threads, right? And you're connecting with people at this moment, using a platform like what they did is that they created owned media for the product. And then they added paid media, right, to the product, meaning that they literally boosted their own product and said, hey guys, here's an ad on Threads, learn how to use it. They wouldn't have to do that. They already have domain authority. So why would Facebook want to run ads on their own threads? They could let them just organically grow, right? They can win it, right? Because they have the highest score. But no, they put a budget to it, right? They said, okay, 2% of the budget, 5%, whatever the percentage of the budget was for the fiscal year. They put that budget and said, this is going to run ads to calculate, right? Create conversion events, create those tags, do retargeting. So you're doing that as a business because you're trying to see what sticks, right? And then when you know what sticks, then you're able to now double down on that because not everything you sell is going to sell. What's going to sell is what they like, what they love, what they're passionate about. So if you can do the same thing, create your own thing. Like for me with this 20 hours of content, those are 20 episodes for me already. That's 20 articles I can create. Those are 20 newsletters I can build. Those are 20, like the next 20 days, I don't need to create content again. I can repurpose this over and over and over and over again till it's exhausted and it's not still exhausted at that point. So that's what I'm saying to you today. If you have a podcast, if you have a blog, if you have content, and you look at the number of posts on your Instagram, on your TikTok, on wherever you have posts, and it doesn't resonate with the number of pages or URLs you have on your website, we need to re strategize for the next half of the year so that whenever you make one post on LinkedIn, one post on Instagram, one post on TikTok, one post on YouTube, all those should come into a multimodal format. A multimodal format, in other words, text, audio, video. Have a multimedia page on your website. plug all those things into it so that when somebody types in how to tie a tie, how to bake a cake, how to whatever, and you have that business and you have that direct access to that URL and you're the person that they're coming to, it's you that they're looking at. And especially if there's nobody else that's talking about it and you're the only one talking about it, you're the person they're going to refer to. That's how you get business. Some people say, "Oh, somebody called me on Google. Oh, they found me on Google." It's happening. It's not magic. It's reality. But for you to get there takes strategy, and that's why that time involvement has to take time. So once you hit 100 and you do it the right way, you'll always be ahead of the game. So that's something that I really wanted to bring down to you as well. So thanks for being here as well. Heather is here. Celeste is here. I haven't heard from you, Celeste. I saw with your Homer Simpson earlier on, so I wanted to come to you. What are you thinking? It's been a while. Welcome to app. Welcome back, and then pass it to Heather after that.
Hey, so first of all, I want to say, because I don't know, I feel like you're the only one that noticed that I haven't been on the app, but I am so proud of you for being consistent because I'm looking at the room numbers. It's like triple, quadruple of what it was like months and months ago when I was on here, every other day. So kudos to you, Favor, for being an example of what producing quality content looks like. And the reason okay, y'all, I mean, I am very big on getting constructive criticism. I mean, even if it's destructive, I don't give a crap. But the reason why I put that Homer Simpson thing, because you asked about like, oh, who's putting out content and what do you think about this? Y'all, I don't put out content like hardly ever. Like it's getting pretty bad. It's because I am a spoiled marketer. Like I have been given the gift from the SEO gods where I don't really have to market as much. I think it's a combination of that and I mean I'm tooting my own horn a little. But I have a local service-based business and we're honestly the best at what we do. So that kind of markets for itself and then combined with SEO, like I don't have to make much of an effort. I personally am not a fan of social media. There's too much work involved. Like it's like this never ending job of producing content and reels and oh look, my reel got, 2 views and putting in all this dang effort and time. And it's just to me, I'm not gonna say it's a waste of energy, but I feel like energy could be spent in other places that yield better results as your website. Andrea mentioned, a newsletter, an email list, things like that that you can actually control most of the outcome. Whereas, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but social media is just getting worse, y'all. Like they are I don't know what's going on in the finance department, but they're struggling, y'all. Like they're struggling to pay the bills. Like all these layoffs, they're pushing ads like crazy. They have these new, monetization standards that they're trying to push on business owners. It's just getting worse and worse. So what I would do, honestly, is get a friend like Favor that can help you with your SEO. I am telling you from someone who is a business owner, I am fully booked to capacity, literally turning away work because I do so well on Google search. And guess what? I don't have to spend all this energy on content. Oh my God. I really feel for people who don't have that luxury. Like, I'm not trying to, brag, but it is like very, very easy over here. Like I'm just not a fan of hard work at this point. But then again, I've been in business for 13 years. So, if you're a new business owner, it could, it takes a little bit of time, but yeah. That's all. That's my little rant for today. Also, if anybody has any questions, I'm generally not as busy during the week. Hit me up. Instagram is kind of the best place to reach out because there's no back channel here. But yeah, hit me up. And hey, Heather, I see you down there. But yeah, I'll kick it back to you, Favor.
Wow, thank you so much, Celeste. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know you're busy. That's why you're not on the app. And I know she's making her coins. That's good. That's good. I like to hear that because, SEO is not hard. And I think, Carlina said it really. She said, it's overwhelming, especially now with AI. You don't want to go there. You do not want to go there if you're not ready organically. Like this morning, I've been up since 4 a.m. We just connected a company. We just built a medical center's website. We've been doing it pretty much all month, and they're launching. They're about to get government contracts, and we had to build their website all month. And yeah, it's certified, accredited, and everything, and it's been crazy. So, and we just plugged this morning at 7 a.m. We had a call, connected them to the Google Search Console, connected them to analytics, connected them to having a heat map on their website so that they can really see what's going on their website, because people are going to be looking for services or this industry, this contract, this that. And then they have like capability statement. They have so many like disclosures, to the point it's medical stuff. It's not a joke. Like the doctors had to literally scan every letter. So we've been doing it all month, and today's May 31st, so they're launching later today. We're just doing some transfer of ownership and stuff like that, and then we'll be good to go. So what I'm saying here is it's not hard, but it takes work. And now with what I'm doing, especially going into June, I'm going to be doing a lot of workshops here on Clubhouse. I'll be doing a lot of LinkedIn audio rooms. Heather, we got to get into our LinkedIn rooms in June. I'm going to definitely reach out to you because we got to do that. It's high time. We got to get into that, because I've been looking at LinkedIn and I'm like, my numbers are growing. I'm like, how am I getting close to 10,000 impressions in 7 days, just without running ads on LinkedIn, and people are connecting with me. And it's like, okay, now I'm getting emails. Now I have 2 interviews to write this weekend for, and then next week I'll be on radio. So I'm just looking at what has happened this month. I'm like, I can do it again the same way I did, but now that I've learned what people need, I want to double down. And what I've realized that people need is zip code marketing, zip code advertising. It's a big thing. And I've literally like gone into the deepest ends of it, to the part where like I'm really studying the numbers, not just because I'm trying to figure out who has what household or what number do they drive or what. I don't care about that. I care about what are they doing when they're not doing anything important. Are they listening to music? Are they listening to podcasts? Are they driving? Are they at the store? Are they at the mall? Those are things I'm looking at. When I'm going into TV advertising, I'm going into radio advertising, I'm going into PR, for these guys in the academy, because this academy is growing. Like this is a vision for me that's going to turn, God willing, into a school, like an institution, like an actual building, because I want people to learn how to do this better. Gone are the days when we're running content and we're doing content. Yeah, content is great. And I've always said this: content is king, context is queen. If it makes sense, it's going to make sense logically. Like it has to match. They're going to be aligned. And if it's misaligned, then it's not going to work out 100%. So you have to look at it from that perspective. On top of this, too, on top of this, I'm bringing in AI. I talked about this earlier. I'm bringing in artificial intelligence like staff or employees to add on to our business as well, and with the people we already have on within the team. And it's like they're all gonna have like their own bot or their own minion, which is gonna be exciting. Because one thing I also noticed too is, and John, I'm also letting you know this too. If you check this out, I thought about it too, and Heather and Celeste, because I know you guys know about the RSS feeds. Um, Microsoft Bing, you know how with sitemaps you can submit sitemaps? You can submit RSS sitemaps with Microsoft. You can't really do that with Google. So that's also an added advantage, right? Because if you have an RSS on Microsoft Bing and you.com is an AI search engine powered by Bing, then your voice is pretty much share of voice on Alexa, on Siri, on Cortana. Your voice is being heard. Hey, do 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 do. And then you have music. What? Yeah, so I'm creating original music for the people in the academy. As you join, you get your song. Once you get into the plans, and you get into the passes, the monthly pass, going forward, you can get access to that original music, because what is happening is music is actually transforming people with podcasts. I just launched a podcast on the news networks, right now for a client, and I was like, okay, let's test it out and see. Only to check this analytics this morning, and what do I find? I see that we've opened up to about 50. This is a podcast that just started literally where are we? We're in May. We only have about 16 episodes, and they're being listened to in Spain, in South Africa, in India, in Ireland, in the UK, in the United States, and then in the United States they're covering about 17 states, and they're already on Amazon Alexa. They're on Bose headphones, and we're putting them on news sites now. So we did a bonus episode, and we're running it as a test to see what we're doing in like CNN, on other news sources, and now I'm getting to see different countries. So people say, I don't have an audience. I don't have an audience. Your audience is waiting for you. You're just not ready for them, to be honest, because they're waiting for you to speak up, to have a podcast, to have an RSS feed. So yeah, let me ask you that, John and Heather. Have you thought about that? Anyone can go first. The RSS feeds.
I'm looking at this right now. So, and please explain a little further. There's a way that you can add your RSS feed to Bing.
Yes. This morning when I was doing it for my client, I had a bingo moment because I was connecting their sitemap. Because you know, when you connect your website to Bing, you have to import it from the Google Search Console so that you don't have to go through the process of you doing all the configuration. So it's like an easy port over because Google and Bing talk to each other. So it's like you're creating like a voice recognition between Google search and Bing search because you're importing data from Google to Bing. So it's like porting your number from like Verizon to T-Mobile, for example. So you have the same thing, but it's pretty much a different service, but you're now connected still. So under this, on the left side where you see sitemaps, you see a fine print under the line. It says include RSS 2.0 XML because XML is sitemaps for websites, but RSS is pretty much really simple syndication for podcasts. So if you plug in your podcast into Bing, then Bing will start getting your episodes anytime you publish it, like on YouTube, you publish it on LinkedIn, you publish it on on pretty much on your distribution platforms. Bing also gets a ping, if that makes sense. And then they now also have the RSS feed pulled out. So your sitemap is also like expanding.
All right, so I'm in excuse me, Google Search Console right now doing some searching. But yeah, this is great information. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Jolanta is here. Hey, Heather, we'd love to hear from you real quickly before we go. We got 5 more minutes, by the way, y'all. So as you're listening, please click the link above. If you really want to get a free trial of what's going on here, click the link above. I've been here for 20 hours. I have a meeting in 4 minutes with a company founder who found me on LinkedIn, and it's a Google Search Console or alternative. So I know Celeste and Heather are like, huh? What is that? I'll tell you all about it, and I'm meeting the founder. It's called SEOgets.com. I'm meeting the founder literally in 4 minutes. So I'm gonna talk to him about it, and then next week I'll come and do Clubhouse rooms about it, and we'll go deeper into the search because I'm really diving into like AI and search. It's gonna be crazy in June. So I'm glad you guys are here. Heather.
Hey. Hey everybody. Hi Celeste. Hi Favor. I've not been here for like a hot minute. I just wanted to pop in and support. But also, I mean, anything to do with SEO, Celeste and Favor are thebomb.com, of course. And in regards to podcasting, I mean, your podcasts can be SEO'd, right? Like I wish people really understood this. I was on Threads the other day and somebody was like, "Oh my god, I just found out that you could like optimize your podcast and like have like search there's actual search engine optimization for podcasts." And I'm like, facepalm, because like everything that has a URL, everything that has a domain name, everything can be optimized when when it comes to websites, to social media, to podcasts, to even your newsletter hyperlink, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, I know Celeste talked about the social media aspect, and it's so time consuming, and it totally is. But if anybody needs help with that, that's what I do. Been doing it for almost 15 years. But the SEO portion, I'm pulling away from that. I'm trying to get away from website design because it's such a time suck. I am allergic to my computer at this point. But if anybody wants to listen, I have now 2 podcasts. One is Into the Black, and the other one is Dark Mode, that is recorded live every Thursday at 11 a.m. EST on LinkedIn Live. So, guys, this has been such a great conversation, and thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate you. I've been seeing you on Threads. I've been seeing you moving there. So love what you're doing on the app. And also Soda said too, yeah, she's finding a lot of, podcasts on Threads. It's a beautiful place to be. Jolanta, I would love to give you some time to speak. Thanks for being here.
Hey Favor, good morning. How are you doing? Thanks for always hosting these rooms. And I was trying to jump in earlier, but I had another room that I had to go moderate usually at this time. So I was actually interested in the conversation about Bing because I need to know how to update the location on Bing. I try to log in because I moved locations for my studio, and I guess Bing still has me at my old place. I don't know how is that. I thought all over the internet, usually once you update one place, it should update it, right? Or how does that exactly work to change it on Bing? I've never logged in on Bing, so I'm not even sure how it updated my location that way. I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thanks for that question. So there's something called Bing Places. I remember doing this for a corporate client. We were able to get them all on Alexa. They have like over 50 locations in the US and they're also international. So we put them on Bing Places. But you have to get there and you have to really it's a I don't know, it's rigorous. We took about 6 weeks to go through about 50 locations. But technically what happens is everything is aligned. So whatever you have on your website is first party data. So when you have think about your house. So when you leave your house, you're leaving from your house. So before anyone sees you, you've come from your house. So if you're creating content, let your house, which is your website, have all the right information so that that right information is now transcribed and encrypted into other pieces of information on the web. Then when you get those updates now get come back to you. But you also have to set up an account. So it's a whole process, but that's something we can talk about later. I got to jump into this call, but yes, hit me up later, Jolanta, so we can talk about it. But you guys have been amazing, and I hope that helped you, Jolanta. Let me just get back to you really quickly. Did that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll look into how I have it set up, and yes, because I would love to invite you to my TikTok lives. I've been doing them like all week, so I remember you mentioned you were on TikTok, so I would love to have you and Rocky in a TikTok live with some other creators from here too, or if anyone else would like to jump in on a TikTok live. I'm talking about collaboration. So thanks, Favor. I know you gotta go. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you so much, Yolanta. I appreciate you. Yeah, I just saw he just entered the waiting room. All right, guys. So click the link in the chat. That's the link I wrote an article on. I'm about to get into a Zoom call with his name is Matthew. He's a founder of this platform. And I'm going to come back and talk about it next week. And check it out, guys. So read the article. I love you all. Have a blessed weekend. Stay safe. Happy June in advance. And if you guys want more information, subscribe to We Don't Play Podcast Shows. The link is above. Replays are on, but some of the replays are going to go off the platform. So make sure that you're able to catch it before it goes into the academy. But there's a free trial, so check the replay so you can get all that information. Love you all. God bless you. Have a wonderful time, and I'll see y'all soon.